Once again, there was a massive shakeup at the top of the Big 12, but where do the power rankings shake out? Anthony Totri, let's go to you first. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Who's the worst team in the Big 12 in your eyes?
Nothing changes here, man. The worst team remains Oklahoma State. I think it's tough to make an argument that anybody has been worse over the last two seasons in the Big 12 than Oklahoma State. At 15, though, West Virginia. The Mountaineers stay put there. At number 14, though, we got a new one. Welcome to the Arizona Wildcats, who drop another game that was very winnable. This time they lose to Houston. They're at number 14. And then rounding out the terrible four in this conference, it's Deion's Buffs, trending in the wrong direction yet again. That's who I've got for the bottom four teams here. Eric, anything stand out to you? You got the same four here or what?
I don't have the same four. I think you might be a little too high on West Virginia, considering they're not in your bottom four teams.
West Virginia was 15, man.
Oh, were they? Oh,
yeah. Come on now.
My bad. I didn't realize they were 15. I was too focused on your 13 and your 14. And I was like, what? But I agree with you at the very bottom. I'm going to take Oklahoma State at the very bottom. I'm also going to put West Virginia in that 15 spot as well for mine. And then coming in at 14, I have Kansas, which when I look back at things, part of that is that they were already low in the weeks before and they had lost a couple games in a row. Kansas just to me isn't looking too great overall, but I can now look back at this and say, all right, maybe if any team in this back row has a chance to move up the most through the end of the season, it is Kansas. And then coming in at 13, I am not a UCF guy. They move up.
Nobody is.
They move up for me, for sure. They got to win. Wow. But again, over the second worst team in the conference. So UCF moves up, but to 13, which means two of the teams that you have in your bottom four, I don't have. So I'll be interested to see where UCF and Kansas rank for you on your next set.
Yeah, well, you don't got to wait too long to see the Knights because I've got them at number 12 in my Big 12 power rankings, followed by the Baylor Bears coming in at number 11. And then following Baylor, it's the Cyclones. It's what's left of the Iowa State Cyclones. They do move up, but this is still a team that has been battling with injuries, specifically on the defensive side of the ball for the majority of the season. So I do have them in the double digits. And then here we are, number 9. That's where you find the Kansas Jayhawks for me. So definitely some differences for the two of us. I'm interested to see who you have here. I hope to see Colorado and the Wildcats, at least when we get to this next slate for you, Rubus.
We're not seeing the Colorado Buffaloes until we get to the top 4, because I've heard they're having a 9-3 season this year. Oh, wait. Maybe not. No, you don't have to wait long on my end to see the Colorado Buffaloes. They say the same at number 12. Coming in at number 11, I do have the University of Arizona dropping down yet again. Houston's a good team, so I didn't have them making as massive of a drop as you, but I do believe you also had U of A lower than me last week as well. Coming in at number 10, suffering a loss this week. This is where things get tricky in the Big 12, I believe. At 10, I have Baylor. Baylor, I don't think that they're the 10th worst team, but they are coming off of a loss. Big 12 play has not been very kind to them, and TCU pulls out a much-needed win against them. At number 9, I do have Kansas State. Kansas State had gained some momentum and moved up. Obviously, they didn't play this past weekend, which is unfortunate for them. They don't drop a massive amount, but they do drop for me. Two teams in my bottom 4 that we have not seen, or my second to bottom 4 that we haven't seen for you. This might be the one that we disagree on the most out of all of our weeks so far, Totri.
Yeah, I mean, we disagree on a lot of things, but our Big 12 power rankings, man, I don't know if we disagree on anything more than where these teams fall. Coming in at number 8 for me, this is where I have Kansas State. Didn't expect them to get to this point given the way that this team started the year, but they are slowly but surely, just staying alive, kicking rocks somewhere along in this conference. So they find themselves at 8. At number 7, I've got TCU, Josh Hoover and company. They move up after a nice win over the Baylor Bears. Interested to see what TCU could do through the rest of the season. At number 6, this is where I have got Utah. Utah falling after a tough loss to BYU. Didn't expect them to take that L after what we saw the week prior against Arizona State, but still a lot of football left for the Utes here in 2025. And then coming in at number 5, I have got the Houston Cougars at 6-1 through the first 7 games this season. I mean, I didn't expect to have Houston here, but given the fact that they're 6-1 to this point, I get it. There's the argument that they haven't really played anybody, specifically on the road. They've struggled. They keep winning ball games, Eric, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree. Houston has been the biggest pleasant surprise in this conference so far. So our Kansas States were pretty close, not too far off, but there are a couple teams that we are pretty distant on as we want to get into my runner-up 4 in the conference, coming in at number 8. I do have TCU, who moved up quite a bit after getting a win. Coming in at number 7, I still have Iowa State here. It's the benefit of a bye. Them moving up is more so because I had Kansas State and Baylor and moved them down this past week. I still think Iowa State, obviously, they're battling the injuries, but I don't consider them a bottom half team in this conference just yet. Certainly, though, with how their roster is looking, it could get that way depending on how the next couple of weeks go. And then we start looking the same. Totri, we start getting into the same categories. 6, I do have Utah moving down after a loss to BYU. And then 5, for the same reasons as you, I have Houston. Now, Houston does drop for me. I know you were a little lower on Houston the last couple of weeks. Now, I know Houston won, but they did, in my opinion, beat a bad team. And every team that I'm going to have listed above Houston got a win or was previously much higher ranked than Houston. So I didn't feel comfortable having Houston ahead of any of those teams, even though they picked up a win this weekend. But still 5th in the conference for Houston. They should be thrilled with that.
Yeah. 1,000%. And I think the next 4 teams that we each have, they're obviously the same. I think we can agree they separate themselves. They're in a tier of their own here, these next 4 teams that Houston and Utah specifically, I would say, are on the outside looking in. Coming in at number 4, from 1 to 4, it is Texas Tech. I get it. I know some people are going to be upset with that one. Tough to punish, though, the teams above them, specifically the one at number 3, Cincinnati. They do indeed fall as well, but this is not a team that, at the end of the day, in my eyes, deserves to be out of that top 4 conversation. Texas Tech and Cincinnati, they are 2 very good teams in this conference that I'm really, really interested to see what they do the rest of the way. Coming in at number 2, it's the team that knocked off Texas Tech. That is your Arizona State Sun Devils. They've got an interesting matchup this week with Houston coming to town and no Jordyn Tyson available for the Sun Devils. So we'll see if Sam Leavitt and company can get the job done, but a big win deserves a big bump in the Big 12 power rankings. That's why they find themselves at number 2. And then coming in at number 1, Eric, it's the team that I have been fighting demons to not put as the number 1 team in this conference all year long because I just don't believe it. It's the BYU Cougars. They're undefeated. Yeah. They just got a big win over Utah. I can't not put them at 1. I can't not do it. They've forced my hand here.
Yeah, and good for them, right? I mean, we'll see with mine. I have the same 4 teams as you, but I don't have them in the same order. One of the things I disagree with on you is that these 4 are in a category of their own. I think Cincinnati and Utah are pretty damn similar. I have Cincinnati at 4. I think they're both good football teams, and if they're in the Big 12 championship, I would be a little surprised, but pleasantly surprised. Sorsby is the best player out of both of those teams, but I like Houston as a complete team a little bit more despite some of the injuries.
One sec. You think Brendan Sorsby is the best player on which 2 teams?
Cincinnati and Houston.
Okay, I thought you said Utah for a second.
No, Houston. I think Cincinnati and Houston I treat about the same. I do have Cincinnati moving up. They did only beat Oklahoma State, and that game was close at halftime. Obviously didn't end up being close. That's all that matters. But you beat the worst team in the conference. With the way that I do my power rankings, you don't give as much of a bump. Coming in at 3, I have Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I still think is probably, if you had to put money on it, the favorite to win the Big 12. I don't think a
For
road
sure.
loss to a really good ASU team changes that, but this is the first time they haven't been in the top 2 or the top 1 for a while. They dropped down to 3. Coming in at number 2, same as you, I've got Arizona State moving up, much deserved after being the number 7 team in the country. They've slowly been getting themselves back into contention in the Big 12. And at 1, I have BYU. I agree with you. BYU has absolutely earned it. Now, they've earned it as of October 22nd, but I agree with you in the sense that I don't consider them the best team in this conference. I don't know if I'll ever consider them the best team in this conference. And if I go down on that ship, then I go down on that ship. It is what it is. The Utah win was impressive. I thought Utah was going to beat them, and I thought Utah was going to beat them handedly, but that did not happen. Is that more of a testament to BYU, or is Utah maybe not as strong as we thought? I don't want to play that game every week where a team picks up a win and we're like, is the team that they beat that good? But when you do look at who Utah has beat and who they haven't, obviously they got a big win over Arizona State. Well, Arizona State didn't have their starting quarterback, right? That's a big deal. Okay, you lost to Tech. That was the only other good team you played this year until you played BYU, who's a good team. I don't know if they're a great team. They're a good team, and you lost. So who is Utah is also a really big question here. BYU and Cincinnati meeting in a couple weeks here in the Big 12. That will be also extraordinarily important. But even if we don't think BYU on paper is the best team in the Big 12, they certainly have the lead when it comes to getting to the Big 12 championship right now, remaining undefeated in conference.
Sneaky good game for BYU this week on the road at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa State, like we said, is a team that's been banged up with injuries, but Ames is tough environment to play in this conference. Some other good matchups. Baylor at Cincinnati. Interested to see if Cincinnati can take care of another opponent that I think we feel they are better than, or at least they've proved to be that point. We already mentioned Houston at Arizona State. We'll see if the Sun Devils can overcome being without the best wide receiver in the conference, potentially in the country. And then Utah looks to defend their home field with Coach Prime Sanders in Colorado coming to town. Guys, let us know what you think. Did we get our power rankings right this week? Who's too high? Who's too low? And as always, for all your Arizona State news and notes, check out the PHNX Sun Devil Show.